Donald Trump wants out of the Cold War-era Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces (INF) treaty and has given Moscow a 60-day deadline to come clean over any violations. But Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov has dismissed the ultimatum and said U.S. threats to suspend participation were meaningless. Mr. Ryabkov said, the INF treaty cannot be suspended, as the U.S. intends to do. This agreement can be only openly violated through the development of relevant armaments. The INF treaty cannot be suspended. Sergei Ryabkov, the minister, said that Kremlin chiefs did not deem Washington's statement about suspending participation in the INF treaty as an ultimatum, but were analyzing it from a practical point of view. He said, in this context, the statement of the U.S. side of December 4 that in case Russia does not stop violating the treaty, the U.S. will suspend its commitments in 60 days and will start a 6-month countdown until Washington's exit brings nothing fundamentally new in the existing situation, either from the international legal point of view or in terms of military political consequences. It is necessary to understand that there is nothing really to suspend in the implementation of the INF treaty, since the liquidation and verification procedures were completed in 2000. Fundamentally, the treaty can only be openly violated by the production and deployment of prohibited missile systems. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov. Image, Getty. Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Image, Getty. Mr. Ryabkov said although the U.S. had promised not to deploy such systems within the 60-day period, the Pentagon had already begun research and development work on this kind of weaponry. He also alleged elements prohibited by the INF treaty were being deployed by the U.S. across Europe as the creation of a global missile defense system continues. The minister insisted Russia strictly complies with the agreement and said Washington's grounds for the decision to suspend participation were therefore inconsistent. He said, thus, Washington's decision is insignificant from the legal angle, and the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty will stay in effect even after the 60 days designated by Americans expire, remaining binding for all parties. The INF Treaty has held since 1987 when it was signed by President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. It has kept nuclear missiles out of Europe for 3 decades and required both countries to eliminate all their nuclear missiles with a range of between 300 miles and 3,400 miles. The treaty was the first time the countries had agreed to reduce their nuclear weapons and led to nearly 2,700 short and medium-range missiles being dismantled.